Tranquil, I think that's the guy who's going to be battling for some playing time with the guy you just mentioned, Jeffrey Bassa, rookie from Oregon. And at last week's or a couple days ago's press conference, Nick Bolton talked about Jeffrey Bassa and had some interesting things to say about Jeffrey Bassa. So here what Nick Bolton had to say about his new teammate.
What stands out about Jeff Bassa too?
Yeah, Jeff Bassa, we joke around all the time, but he's like a mix between Willie that was here and Leo in terms of just stature-wise and his play style. But I think he's been a great job communicating. One of those things that as a linebacker coming in, you know your job if you communicate well. He does that probably as good as anybody. And also just talk to the secondary, understand what people are doing behind him. And so I've also had some time to kind of sit down and talk to him a little bit and kind of pick his brain a little bit. And you understand that he's a high IQ guy, a high motor. He's a little bit lighter guy, but he can run, he can cover a little bit. So he brings those intangibles to the team we need.
You can tell that he's got a background as a defensive back.
Yeah, you definitely can tell. We made a joke about it one time because he's out there playing press like a corner. We said we take 31, put 35 in there, we might switch it out a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty fun, man. He's up there. He likes to play coverage, so that'd be great for us.
I love how like you can see he lights up when they ask like football related type questions, and he like answers those questions. I mean, this guy's a football player. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
But Leo, the thing that stood out to me is he compared him to a Leo Willie Gay hybrid kind of guy, which I think is pretty interesting because that's like put those two together. That's a really badass linebacker if that's what he sees in him.
Yeah, no, that's talking a lot about his ability, man. That's high praise, man, coming from a good linebacker, a great linebacker in the league right now. And so for a young guy, he recognizes his ability. And so what do you see? He sees the speed. He sees the IQ. He sees the high motor that he's playing with. And so when he was talking about also, too, having some of that DB background, put him in the cover. And he wasn't playing. He wasn't kidding. He wasn't. He like, hey, man, put him in. I'd rather see more linebackers on the field than I want to see safeties and everybody else. Let these guys come in and come do the job. But I do believe that, man, Nick's going to fall in love with this guy. He's going to fall in love with this young man. And so what he sees in him is a lot of himself. I think that's one thing you recognize, right? And so I think if he takes him under his wing, the Chiefs going to be even better for doing that. So
generally, if you are putting a guy like Willie Gay, because I think we both agree he's probably one of the more athletic. He was probably one of the more athletic linebackers. He was definitely the most athletic linebacker we had. But overall in the league, probably one of the more athletic guys in the league, I would say, as far as linebacker position. And you talk about Leo Chenal, who's a strong dude, who can rush the passer. He's athletic. Can do a lot of different things. But you put those two together, that's a hell of a linebacker. And obviously, I'm not going to, two name comparisons, right? But like he said, from a physique and a kind of athletic wise, that's kind of what Jeffrey Bassa is. And you talk about what we lacked in last year with the being able to guard running backs, being able to guard tight ends. Tranquil was kind of the guy for that, and Tranquil had a really good first year with us. Then last year was kind of a bit of a slip for him, and then you bring in Bassa, who can do the things that we kind of failed in last year. I think Bassa's got a very, very big shot of taking some PT from Tranquil. Obviously, we need to see what happens during training camp and preseason, how that kind of pans out. But would you be surprised if Bassa's stealing reps from Tranquil when we get to the season, JD, based on what we know about Bassa?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he did that.
Really?
Just off the bat, you talking about?
I guess I'm saying at some point in the season we see Bassa start to eat at the playing time we're seeing from Drew Tranquil. Maybe not right off the bat, but maybe over time you can start to see it eat at.
He's got to earn it, man. I'm not going to say anything until we see it. And so we could say that, but we could be wrong. We could be wrong. Drew Tranquil might come and play out the frame. Drew Tranquil's a good linebacker. We know this. Did he have somewhat of a last year might have been his best year, but like you said, the first year he came in, man, he was doing everything. That's why we signed him. We got him here, and shoot, we rewarded him with a longer contract, more money. which he earned. He earned every bit of that. And so, this is a competitive league, Marcus. It's a competitive league. So I can't make that assessment until I actually see how he is in the NFL. Because that's another thing. It's another jump, man. You ain't no Oregon, okay? You're just not dealing with, international, finance. You're just not, okay? You're going against guys that for a fact is trying to rip your throat out. So, we just got to be, make sure if he does get the chance and opportunity, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that competition, man. Really,
No, I agree with you. I mean, obviously, we hope that he's this good where he can take reps away from, especially in a area that we were lacking, right? Not be able to stop the running backs, not be able to stop a tight end.
But Marcus, though, look, guys got to earn it. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
I'm just saying, like we can't count Drew Tranquil out, right? Well, some people want to get rid of Drew. I'm not ready to get rid of Drew. Okay, I'm not. Drew came here and he wanted to be here. He loves being in Kansas City. I ain't ready to get rid of the guy. Okay, Drew is a hell of a linebacker. I like Drew a lot. So the thing is, you got to show that's who you are. I just that's who you. So that's why I hate having these conversations because we ain't seen nothing yet. He ain't played a down in the NFL at all, not one, right? We seen his college tape and his college film. We seen that. We seen where he's been in, down there for Senior Bowl. We seen that. Okay, we seen his leadership ability, but we got to see him on Sunday. That's what we got to see. We got to see him on Sunday, brother. So I hope he's, I know he's a hell of a linebacker. We know that. That's why we drafted him, because of his ability. So that comes together to fruition to see how great of a linebacker he is. That just makes us better all the way around, right? Makes us better all the way around.
For sure. So, I guess to adjust the question, I would say of the three kind of the top guys in the linebacker room, Bolton, Tranquil, and Chenal, Bassa would take, if he was going to take reps from somebody, it would be coming from Tranquil. That would be the guy he would probably be taking reps from if he was going to steal any reps from anybody.
Yeah, but he's going to take, man, look, he's going to take some from Bolton. He's going to take some from Bolton, I would think, too, probably on third down. So if you need capable linebackers to cover, Bassa could come in and take some away from Bolton in the middle. That's what I believe. So it wasn't necessarily that Drew could necessarily do it all the time. If Nick had an issue and a problem, and we talked about some of the injuries he might have had, wrists, and obviously, his hand. Bassa could come in and play Mike. I don't think it's always about Drew,
right?
Really. So, and Nick, to be honest with you, Nick will have no problem with that. He'll have no problem whatsoever, to do that. So let's utilize Nick when we need Nick. Okay, we don't want to wear Nick out anymore, and so we need to understand that Bassa has the ability to play both positions. Matter of fact, that's what he played in college at the last part because he had to play Mike. He knows that position. He knows where he needs to be. And so like he was talking about the communication. And so part of that too knows that Nick is saying like, hey man, you got to be on the same page with me, as far as communicating with these guys back here. He knows where everybody is. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing we saw when Bassa talked about. He's learning all different types of all positions on the defense. So your Sam, your Will, your Mike. So he's kind of he's learning all of that. So he's gonna be another a guy who's kind of utilized all over the place where need be. So I'm excited to see what Jeffrey Bassa can do. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.